Welcome to another podcast. When the Middle East continues to be in turmoil and on the brink of a wider war, this week I want to try and understand the foreign policy of Kamala Harris. As Vice President of the United States and a former senator, Kamala Harris has had a substantial influence on American foreign policy, particularly towards the Middle East. In this analysis, we delve into what her potential policies might be if she were to set them for key areas in this complex region. We will explore her stances on pivotal issues involving Israel, Gaza, the Palestinians, and Iran. By reviewing her voting record and public speeches, we aim to gain a comprehensive understanding of how she views the Israel-Palestine conflict, humanitarian crises in Gaza, the rights and aspirations of the Palestinian people, and the diplomatic challenges posed by Iran. Let's examine her history and potential direction in these critical areas. Kamala Harris's approach to the Middle East reflects a blend of traditional U.S. diplomatic efforts with a progressive commitment to human rights and regional stability. Throughout her public statements and political history, Harris has consistently underscored the importance of maintaining strong alliances while advocating for peaceful resolutions to long-standing conflicts. Her support for Israel remains steadfast, emphasizing the need for security guarantees for the Israeli state. Simultaneously, Harris has also called for a renewed commitment to humanitarian efforts and pursuing a viable two-state solution with Palestine. In terms of military intervention, Harris tends to advocate for strategic engagement, prioritizing diplomacy and multilateral cooperation before considering force. Her voting record highlights a balanced approach, supporting defense funding for allies while scrutinizing actions that could exacerbate tension or lead to unnecessary conflict. Regarding Iran, Harris has shown support for international agreements aimed at denuclearization, endorsing measures like the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, while advocating for stringent compliance and readiness to reimpose sanctions if necessary. She has expressed a clear inclination towards working within international frameworks to address regional issues, promoting diplomacy, economic aid, and building coalition-based responses to terrorism and instability. Harris's policy approach aims to harmonize America's strategic interests with a principled stance on human rights and democratic values in the Middle East. Kamala Harris has consistently shown a nuanced stance on the Israel-Palestine conflict. In her Senate career, she has supported measures that align with the United States' traditional stance of strong support for Israel. Harris has affirmed her commitment to a two-state solution, emphasizing that it is the best path forward for achieving lasting peace in the region. In terms of military aid, Harris has backed continued financial and military support for Israel. She has voted in favor of significant defense assistance packages, citing Israel's right to defend itself against terrorism and other security threats. Harris has also stressed the importance of maintaining Israel's qualitative military edge in the volatile Middle East region. However, her approach is not without criticism or complexity. Harris has called for balanced and fair mediation, urging both parties to engage in direct negotiations. She has condemned acts of violence from both sides and has underscored the need for protection of human rights and security for all involved. In speeches, Harris has often reiterated her belief that peace can only be achieved through diplomatic channels. She has advocated for renewed American leadership in facilitating negotiations between Israeli and Palestinian leaders. Further, she has shown support for U.S. involvement in international efforts to promote peaceful coexistence and mutual recognition. Overall, while Harris stands firmly with Israel in terms of security and military aid, she also pushes for a proactive American role in ensuring that dialogue and negotiation continue, aimed at reaching a sustainable and equitable resolution to the Israel-Palestine conflict. Kamala Harris has consistently emphasized the importance of addressing the humanitarian situation in Gaza. In her public statements, Harris has highlighted the severe living conditions faced by the Palestinian population, blaming the ongoing blockade and frequent military confrontations. She emphasizes less the responsibility of Hamas for the situation in Gaza. She has advocated for increased humanitarian aid to ensure access to basic necessities such as food, water, and medical supplies for the residents of Gaza. During her time in the Senate, Harris supported legislation aimed at providing humanitarian assistance to the region. She has voiced her concern over the impact of military actions on civilians, calling for restraint and the protection of innocent lives during conflicts. Harris has expressed the need for a balanced approach that ensures the security of Israel while simultaneously addressing the human rights and living conditions of Palestinians in Gaza. In response to major conflicts, Harris has called for international efforts to broker ceasefires and facilitate dialogue between the conflicting parties. She champions the role of the United States in working with allies and international organizations to alleviate the suffering in Gaza and promote a more stable and peaceful environment. Furthermore, Harris's statements often underscore the critical need for long-term solutions that address the root causes of the humanitarian crisis, advocating for comprehensive peace negotiations to end the recurring cycles of violence. Kamala Harris's policies regarding the Palestinian people reflect a commitment to balancing support for Israel's security with a staunch advocacy for Palestinian rights. Harris has consistently reiterated her belief in the right of Palestinians to self-determination, advocating for a two-state solution as the best path to lasting peace. In her public statements, she has emphasized that both Israelis and Palestinians are entitled to live in peace, dignity, and security. In terms of economic aid, Harris has supported continued U.S. assistance to the Palestinian Authority in a bid to enhance stability and foster economic development. She believes that bolstering the Palestinian economy is crucial for reducing tensions and empowering Palestinian leaders willing to engage in peace negotiations. Harris is also on record defending humanitarian aid to the Palestinian people, emphasizing the importance of addressing humanitarian crises in Gaza and the West Bank. When it comes to peace negotiations, Harris has vocalized her backing for renewed diplomatic efforts. She encourages direct dialogue between Israeli and Palestinian leadership and sees the US playing a pivotal role as a mediator in this process. Her approach stresses the importance of fair negotiations that respect the aspirations and security needs of both parties. Harris also supports leveraging international cooperation to facilitate a comprehensive peace agreement, demonstrating her commitment to a multilateral approach to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Kamala Harris's approach to Iran has been characterized by a blend of diplomacy and firmness. As a senator, Harris strongly supported the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, commonly known as the Iran nuclear deal, which was aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear capabilities in exchange for lifting economic sanctions. She has often emphasized the importance of multilateral agreements and the value of engaging allies and partners in diplomatic efforts to ensure regional stability. Harris has been critical of the Trump administration's decision to withdraw from the JCPOA in 2018, arguing that it undermined international agreements and America's credibility on the global stage. She believes that re-entering and potentially renegotiating the deal, with stricter measures and oversight, is essential for preventing Iran from developing nuclear weapons. Harris has maintained that it is crucial to use diplomatic channels to address not just nuclear proliferation, but also other areas of concern, such as Iran's ballistic missile program and its activities in the region.
When it comes to economic sanctions, Harris supports their strategic use as a tool to pressure the Iranian government into compliance with international norms. However, she also recognizes the humanitarian impact of such sanctions on the Iranian populace and advocates for a balanced approach that minimizes unnecessary suffering for ordinary citizens. Harris has called for targeted sanctions that focus on the Iranian regime and those directly involved in destabilizing activities, rather than broad sanctions that affect the general population. In terms of diplomatic relations, Harris endorses a policy of cautious engagement. She believes that open lines of communication with Iran are crucial to de-escalating tensions and avoiding military conflicts. Harris has consistently advocated for working within international frameworks and with allies to address the multifaceted security challenges posed by Iran, while also supporting the human rights of the Iranian people. Overall, Harris's approach to Iran is multifaceted and leans heavily on diplomacy reinforced by strategic economic pressures. She aims to prevent nuclear proliferation, promote regional stability, and ensure that humanitarian concerns are adequately addressed through measured, multilateral action. Kamala Harris's policy stance towards the Middle East is characterized by a balanced approach and strong diplomatic efforts. Her record reflects a commitment to Israel's security while advocating for a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict. She has emphasized the importance of humanitarian aid in Gaza and supported economic initiatives to improve living conditions for Palestinians. Regarding Iran, Harris favors a return to diplomatic engagements, including the Iran nuclear deal, coupled with strategic economic sanctions to curb its nuclear ambitions. Collectively, she would claim that her position advocates for peace, stability, and the empowerment of regional partners through diplomacy and aid, signaling a nuanced and proactive Middle East policy. Many would disagree with her stand. On the left of her own party, she is criticized for supporting Israel. Republicans would argue she is too pro-Palestinian. We are out of time. Remember, understanding someone does not mean you agree with them. It means you respect their reality enough to see it through their eyes. Until next time, goodbye.